But Andrew Liang, again, this is something as China confronts this whole Taiwan question, and we've seen how tensions have ratcheted up between Washington and Beijing. Perhaps one would have thought that this is an opportunity for Xi Jinping, opportunity for China to try and sort of to try and smoothen out some of the ruffled feathers, particularly vis-a-vis India, some of the concerns that India has over BRI, over this string of pearls that's happening in our vicinity, in our neighborhood. Unfortunately, we're not seeing that. We're not seeing that either in eastern Ladakh, where the standoff continues, or we're not seeing this in India's periphery in countries like Sri Lanka.
Well, it is necessary to put this in a broader context, leaving aside the question of debt trap, which is a cautionary tale for China's Belt and Road. One has got to understand the reasons why the Belt and Road, including the Hambantota port, which is one part of it, why is it reaching out to so many countries around the world? Why so many countries want to embrace the Belt and Road? It's not just the investment. It's not just the building a port. At the back of it is China's connectivity as the world's largest trading nation. Every time I walk along the shore, either in Hong Kong and other cities, I see Chinese ships carrying goods around the world. And in fact, most of the things under the sun are now produced in China. And then these goods are shipped throughout the world. And that's why the building a port is...
Nobody has a problem with mercantile ships, Mr. Liang. The problem is with reconnaissance ships. The problem is with military ships, not with mercantile ships.
Yes, yeah. But then you brought up the question of why Sri Lanka should embrace build this port and welcome these ships. As pointed out, I mean, the Sri Lanka is under a 99-year lease, unfortunately, because of the indebtedness. But behind it all is the connectivity. So just zeroing on just the military aspect or the single bilateral aspect risks the missing the whole the broader picture, the global picture.
Okay.
And you mentioned the question of Taiwan. Of course, the Taiwan issue is a very, very sensitive issue for China, and both the United States and China are in loggerheads over this. But this doesn't translate into changing the broader picture of China's Belt and Road, including the Hambantota port.
Okay, I want to go back to Dr. Saravanamuttu. The fear in India is it might start with research vessels, reconnaissance vessels, and so on, but ultimately the fear is that Hambantota will end up becoming some kind of an overseas naval base for the Chinese Navy, much like Djibouti has become.
Yes, and that is exactly why, as far as Sri Lanka is concerned, we need to have a non-aligned foreign policy. We need to move towards a rule-based engagement of India and China as far as Sri Lanka is concerned. It can't be a zero-sum game. We can't sort of say that, look, because India has given us X amount of money to bridge us through this terrible economic crisis that we have, that we are going to do everything that India wants, or alternatively, because China has invested so much in the port and the harbor and whatever, that we're going to do what China wants. We have to balance the two out. And we have to make sure that their interaction, as far as Sri Lanka is concerned, is rule-based, that it's based on agreements, and that each time something like this happens, and each time someone wants to make a statement or a demonstration of power, that it doesn't set off a diplomatic or political crisis of whatever proportions.
All right. I'll give Dr. Kartha the final word. Does this entire episode also show you the limitations of India's foreign policy in the absence of the capability of imposing costs on Sri Lanka? We have to live with the limitations that we have.
No, I don't think you should say it that way. It's a question of what you can do within certain realities of international law. I mean, having said international law, it's a different issue that China doesn't follow any international law. That's a different thing. But the recent that court, the ruling for the South China Sea, which the tribunal had given, China doesn't follow that. Leaving that aside for the moment, there are other things that you can do to sort of shape the situation. And the gifting of aircraft is one. Second is you'll eventually, hopefully, I think we are going to have our own capabilities in this direction. And you can then take your ship and do whatever you want with it. You can counter this with your own moves likewise. So within a situation, you have many other options. And I think we will certainly exercise those options.
Okay,
but I don't think we should hold it as we've given this much money to Sri Lanka, therefore they should do X, Y, Z. That is not how we see a neighbor, you know. We've given it when they were in need.
All right, Dr.
So,
Kartha.